120 nights, 2 instruments, 1 frame. The amber line traces seeing arcsecond by arcsecond. The steel bars behind it count exposures captured. Watch them argue with each other. Seeing climbs past 2.7, exposures collapse below 20. That relationship was always sitting there in the data. It just took 5 deliberate fixes, starting from Matplotlib's ugliest defaults, to actually make it visible at a glance. Matplotlib's out-of-the-box chart is honest, but exhausting. Heavy grid lines fight the data for attention. A full box spine adds ink that says nothing at all. Default blue reads as a placeholder, not a decision. None of that is actually a bug, it's just untuned. A publication chart is the same numbers, deliberately dressed, so the eye lands on the finding instead of the furniture. 8 nights straight from the log. Seeing in arcseconds, exposures captured, sky brightness in magnitudes per square arcsec. Night 6, seeing drops to 1.57, exposures jump to 37, the best haul in this whole stretch. Night 8, seeing balloons to 2.73, exposures fall to 15. That inverse pattern holds across all 120 nights. This table's just where you get to see it happen in raw numbers first. Publication styling isn't decided per chart, it's decided once up front. Import numpy and piplot as always, then set 3 RC params, strip the top and right spines everywhere, fix 1 font family, and lock the figure at a print-ready DPI. Everything after this cell is just applying taste consistently, not fighting Matplotlib chart by chart. Here's the same seeing versus exposures scatter twice. Left, as default Matplotlib gives you, primary blue dots, a heavy grid, a gray plot background, lowercase axis labels nobody proofread. Right, the cleaned version, 1 deliberate color, a whisper of grid, spines that don't box you in. The data's identical both times, but only one version actually lets a reader see that worse seeing means fewer exposures. Move 1, the grid. Matplotlib defaults to nothing, so a beginner overcorrects and cranks it up trying to add structure. Watch alpha climb toward 1, and there it is, the seeing line disappears behind its own scaffolding. Now watch it fall to 12% instead. The curve is still anchored to the axis, but it stops competing. That's the whole trick. Grid lines should support the eye, never argue with it. Move 2, color. Push the mix toward 1, and the filter bars turn a garish, saturated red, the kind of default that screams instead of informs. Pull it back toward 0, though, and they settle into a muted, confident teal. The U and G bands still red as the biggest bars, 118 and 139 hours logged. The numbers didn't change, only the shouting stopped. Move 3, the frame itself. Crank the left spine's width toward 3, and the axis turns into a clunky ruler, thicker than the data it's actually supposed to support. Settle it near 1, though, and the frame goes quiet, present, but not competing with the amber curve or the callout marking night 106, the best seeing of the whole run at 0.6 arcsec. 4 mixes of the same filter bars, pure garish red at full saturation, a muddy in-between nobody would choose on purpose, a cold teal that reads as clinical, and then the keeper, barely warmed off that teal, restrained enough to sit next to text all day. Cycle through them and notice how fast your eye tells you which one a publication would actually print. Alright, quick check on yourself here. Of the 3 moves you just watched, the grid, the color, the spine, which one directly made the seeing versus exposures relationship itself easier to read, not just the chart nicer to look at? It's the grid, that's the one. A loud grid visually fights a sloped line for attention. The color and spine fixes were about restraint and hierarchy, not about revealing the trend underneath. Grid down to 12%, color pulled back from garish to restrained, spines thin to 1 weight, top and right dropped entirely, type set once in RC params, not per chart, and a callout on the one night that mattered, night 106, 0.6 arcsec. None of it changed a single number in this dataset. It only changed whether anyone could actually read what the numbers were already saying.